welcome you all to a webinar on career in commerce. Now I would like to invite CGC Chairperson, Dr. Megha Sharma ma'am, to please come and introduce our speaker, Dr. Rita Rangnekar ma'am.
Thanks, Neha. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Megha Sharma from Department of Accountancy, as Chairperson of CGC, take this opportunity to welcome and introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Rita Rangnekar ma'am, for our session on career opportunities in commerce. Dr. Rita has more than 30 years of experience in HR, business operations, academics, branding and research. She is University Gold Medalist in HR and English Literature. She did her PhD in management. She has worked in IT, pharmaceuticals, hospitality with Mahindra Days Hotels, Ranbaxy Laboratories, Datamatics Technologies Limited. With over 31 years of experience in recruitment, corporate training, academic coordination, and other social responsibilities. I request participants to mute yourself. Just mute. Yes. She has delivered training program for BPCL, FICCI, LIC of India, Reliance Industries, HSC, HCC, MTech Software, JK Files, SP Jain Institute of Management Studies, and others. She has conducted faculty development program for major educational institution and has a strong research orientation in performance management, soft skills, emotional intelligence, communication skill. She is former chairperson of Indian Society for Training and Development, Mumbai chapter. Dr. Rita has been awarded Best Faculty for Institution Building at IBS Mumbai twice for the year 2012-13 and year 2016-17. She won the Devang Mehta Award for Best Professor in Human Resource Management in 2013, awarded by BMA. One among 100 academic heads to receive Professor Y.K. Bhushan 100 Most Dedicated Teachers of India Award given by World Education Congress in November 2017. She is currently responsible for IBS brand building, institution building, management development programs, and CSR. Dear participants, it's our privilege to have such an eminent speaker among us. I request all the participants to grab this opportunity and have maximum benefit from her. We welcome you, ma'am, and we request you to start with your session.
Thank you, Meghna ma'am. It's a pleasure to meet with you on this online platform. A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries of KES Shroff College, and a very good afternoon to Mr. Ratandeep Prajapati, who's here today, and my colleagues from IBS. And last but not the least, most important are our very dear students over here, who have all of you are here on a Saturday afternoon, and that too on the eve of Independence Day. Happy to meet all of you, and let me start by wishing all of you a happy Independence Day Eve, and let's hope tomorrow's day goes very well for all of you. Now, friends, I had the privilege and honor of listening to a few statements and a few bits of Dr. Sanjeev Nigam's session, and I must say that I was very, very impressed. I hope I'm able to replicate his Hindi and speak in that beautiful a way. However, please forgive me if I speak to you in English, and wherever required, if you wish, you can ask me questions in Hindi if needed. I will be happy to answer those for you in English. All right. So with that, ma'am, may I share my screen? Am I allowed to?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So just give me 2 minutes, students, and then we'll take it from there. I'll put it on slideshow.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you see this now? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good afternoon, children. Good afternoon to all of you. I think I have around 40 to 45 minutes to speak, or since it's already 3:10, Meghna ma'am,
Yes,
How much
yes,
time
ma'am.
do I take?
Yes,
40
yes,
40 minutes?
45. Yes, ma'am.
45
minutes.
45 minutes, right? So please tell me when to stop, at least
Okay.
10 minutes before that, and then we'll take questions. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
So friends, first of all, have all of you had lunch, children? Have you had your lunch? And are you ready to ask questions? Are you ready to participate? Can someone say something?
Yes, student, just reply.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
yes,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So at
Yes,
any
ma'am.
point of time, if you feel that my session is sending you to sleep, right, please shake yourself up and wake me up also, right? So with that, we have already, I think, looked at this particular aspect, right? So all of you are in your final year, or are you in your second year? All of you are in the final year? Can somebody, maybe you can put it in the chat box?
Second year.
Second year. So there is this big question ahead of all of us, and it's a very critical one because there are parental expectations, there are teachers' expectations about what should my son or what should my student do after he or she completes graduation, right? And for all of us, after 10th standard, then it was, how do I get through the 12th standard? After the 12th standard, then parents say, all right, now what degree do you wish to get? And once you start off your graduation and once you have completed, you're halfway through it, the question that arises before you is, now what? Now what? So the typical age that we are at right now, correct me if I'm wrong, would be, let's say, are we 19 or are we 20? We are at that stage, right? So this is a typical time for all of us. I felt like that when I was your age. One wants to do one's graduation. One wants to do post-graduation. One also wants to start earning. Am I right? We all want to start earning, and we feel that I should have a career which fetches me a good job. When I say a good job, I should have a job which will allow me to sit in an air-conditioned office. I should get a good salary. I should also have good growth in my job. And I should also have a social presence, which means that when people ask me, oh, which company are you working for? I should be able to lift my head up and say, I'm working for JP Morgan, or I'm working for Google, or I'm working for Amazon. Isn't that right? Most of us have those kind of doubts or aspirations for ourselves, right? A lot of us also wish to start off with our business. Many of them say that, no, why should I take a job? I would want to start my own business, right? So these are typical questions. Should I go for a job or should I go for higher education? Now, can you quickly raise your hands in terms of, is any of you going through such a question in your mind? Is any of you going through such a thought or such a question in your mind? I can look at the chat box a little later. We can take your questions. Yes. So Darshan Bala says, yes, he does have a doubt. Should I take a job or should I go for higher education? Okay. Now, let me tell you something. Just 1 minute I want to spend here on this particular thought that comes to your mind. Should I take a job? Now, it all depends. Abroad, in foreign countries, you are expected, after you complete your graduations, your parents say, no, I'm not going to take care of you after this. If you wish to study further, you take your job, you earn your pocket money, or you earn for your higher studies, and you pay for your higher studies from what you have earned from your job. Now, that is a typical culture that you have in the United States. You have it in Europe. India is, I guess, one of the few countries where your parents do take care of your education till you complete your post-graduation, or many a times till you take 2 degrees, 3 degrees, or whatsoever it is. Right? So to that effect, children, I would say we are very lucky. We are very lucky because we have our parents either to pay for our education or to see us through that path, through that learning path, till such time as we find a good job, and even after that, till we stand on our own feet and we are able to manage ourselves. So today in India, you can still go back to daddy and mom and say, my salary is not enough. Till such time as I settle down, I will be still a little dependent on you. But of course, you don't want that. You don't want that, right? If you ask me about whether I should go for higher education or take a job, I would say take your education. Take your education as much as you can take. And why? Because a learned person demands and commands more respect and more recognition in the world outside. So between an educated person and a not so educated person who has more money, maybe has more money and a better income than you as against your moderate salary, a learned person always commands more respect and people look forward to it. So studies is something that one should never give up, and learning continues all through your life. Now, I don't want to give you philosophy, and this is not something I'm sure, this is not something that you want to listen, but I just wanted to set the platform for all of this. Okay? Jobs, there are part-time jobs and there are full-time jobs, right? Let's look at how we go about that. Okay. Now, since I was asked to speak to all of you, a lot of you have completed your BCom. Am I right? So that's the basic platform with which you are looking out into the world. And next year, you would be deciding whether I appear for my competitive exams or whether I wish to take a job. And for both of these, although I'm digressing from the topic a little, for both of these, remember that along with your degree and your education, it is how you speak, how you articulate your personality, and how you appear for your selection processes, whether it is for a job or whether it is for a higher education platform. Your personality, your skills, your competencies, and how you approach people and how you talk. I would give 150 marks for somebody who speaks a lot, who speaks well, right? So that's one aspect. The second aspect, and listen to this very, very carefully. Listen to this very carefully. Today, a BCom graduate, I repeat, a BCom graduate commands a lot of respect in the corporate world because of the strong learning that you have had in your graduation time and what your teachers have taught you. Similarly, a BMS also, a management studies, bachelor's in management studies, also commands a lot of respect. So out in the open job market today, you can definitely apply for a job and you can get it either through your campus recruitment or otherwise. Now, I want to specifically tell you about some of the options that are available to you for higher studies. And I'm sure all of your teachers who are so erudite and who have groomed you so well would have already told you, and some of you may already be doing these, right? So you may either go for your MBA program, which could come as an MBA, a PGPM, or a PGDM, a postgraduate program in management, which IBS gives, or a postgraduate diploma in management, which other B schools give. You could go for your chartered accountancy, your ICWA. You could become a company secretary. You may also wish to do your law. There is also an option where you may want to do an MCom. You could become a certified financial analyst, but of course that's not an Indian degree. That would be a degree from the United States of America. You may also wish to go for your FRM. Now, in all of this, I'm sure all of you would agree that, of course, in company secretary, you would learn law. You would learn company law, and you would be managing the legal aspects of the organization. Now, typically, in a large corporate, or an organization, even with about, say, 500 people, they may go for one company secretary or two company secretaries. All right. Not very many, but then you do have people who go in for a company secretaryship after their BCom. All right. So these are some of the options. Now, what are the studies options? Studies options, I will also speak to you about those. In addition to if you do not wish to go for a private career or for a corporate career, you also have these options. I'm sure you can see these in front of you. We are talking about the IAS, which is Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service. So you could become a police commissioner. Indian Economic Service, for example, our former Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh, he had completed his Indian Economic Service, and then, of course, he was a professor in economics in JNU. Right? Then you have the Indian Forest Service today in a big way. There is a lot of movement against conserving forests. So there are examinations, competitive exams that can help you appear for Indian Forest Service, and you could be posted as a commissioner or a deputy commissioner in various reserved forest areas, or also in separate states where they have, forest secretaries. Then there is also the Maharashtra Public Service Commission. So if you can't get into the Indian Administrative Service, you can also appear for the state level exams. In Maharashtra, it's the MPSC, Maharashtra Public Service Commission. Not as difficult as the IAS, but then your postings will, of course, be within the particular state. For example, if you appear in Karnataka for the Karnataka Public Service Commission and you become a KAS officer, your postings and your transfers would be within Karnataka itself. Similarly, for various states. There are also the banking service examinations. These are competitive exams. They are known as, the higher level exams are the probationary officer, so you can become a PO, or they are, you also have the staff selection commission. So you have the clerical level jobs. You start at clerical and then you grow up the ranks. Now, friends, why am I telling you about these examinations? These are all open to all graduates. They are open to all graduates, and there is also the Indian Revenue Service. I didn't put that over here. There is also the Indian Revenue Service. Can you tell me one name of a person who got in through the, who has been a erstwhile Indian Revenue Service officer? Oh, yes, I'm so happy. Who was that?
Sir, ma'am,
yeah, what's your name?
Mitesh.
Mitesh. Yes.
Yes,
Mitesh, thanks for that.
Yeah,
so that is also one line. Yes. Arvind Kejriwal was an IRS officer. Now, I'm spending only 1 minute over here and then moving on to the next one. In all these examinations, for all these exams, you have to study very hard. So there are 3 or 4 aspects which are very important. So you will have to go through the prelims, then you will have to go through the final exams. After the final exams, there are 2 rounds of interviews. And then once your posting happens, you go through a rigorous training program, following which you could be posted, on the either as a district manager or a district secretary. The process is very long, and when you do these exams, you can't do anything else, because especially in North India and in states like Bihar and UP, students take, after their graduation, They sit at home for 2 years and they only study for their competitive exams. And still there is no guarantee that you can get in because the examination is very, very rigorous and you need to put in that kind of preparation in your study. Right? Having said that, this is one of the most coveted jobs, and it's a matter of pride and honor for parents that their son has become a collector or a commissioner. Right? So if you have it in you, this is one area, and definitely worth talking. In addition to this, corporates like BPCL, Hindustan Petroleum, or the large RCF, they have their own independent exams which they conduct on these lines, and you can get in through those also. But if you are a graduate, you will get in at the basic level. You will not become an officer overnight. You will have to work to become a senior officer, and the growth trajectory starts from there. All right. Now, what are the education options after graduation? You complete your BCom or you complete your BMS. What are your educational options? These are some of the things that you can do. I spoke to you about the other ones. Now, there is also something called management. Now, those of you who've completed your BMS or you're doing your bachelor's in management studies, there is one definitely an option for you, that you go for your post-graduation in management studies, having completed your bachelor's, or even those of you who've completed your BCom would definitely want to look at a postgraduate program in management. Yeah. I would want to spend a couple of minutes here to tell you. Now, I'm sure a question that you would ask me, before you ask me this question, I'll tell you the answer to this. You would say, if I've completed my bachelor's in management studies, why should I go for a postgraduate in management, postgraduate degree in management studies? Now, remember that when you do your you do your undergraduate degree, you would be given, like I would say, it's like a trailer, or you would be given the basics of management studies. However, the application of that and the expansion and the scope of that in terms of the vastness of the entire gamut of management learning, you will get that only in a postgraduate program. And even if you go for a placement immediately after your graduation, you might get into one particular trajectory, but the trajectory that you would get into when you do your postgraduate management program would be 3 or 4 levels higher. So directly you get into the management cadre, and that's the reason most people go for a master's in business management, or in many cases, for example, the Indian Institutes of Management, the IIMs, they give you a PGDBA. So they may not give you an MBA, they give you a PGDBA because these are autonomous institutions, or you get a postgraduate program in management, just the way IBS gives a postgraduate program in management, or a postgraduate diploma or a degree in management. In addition to that, there are plenty of diplomas which are short-term, let's say 1-year courses in management, which you take, you can work and you can take up those diplomas in the evening. So you have a PG diploma in finance, HR management, marketing management. Nowadays in Coursera also, you get a lot of these long-term and short-term certification programs. You will see that some institutes are also giving online certification programs for one particular year, but those are all with for people with work experience. For example, if you want to go for an executive MBA program, you may require to have at least minimum 5 years of work experience, after which you can enter an executive MBA program. All right. Of course, there is MCOM also, but after you complete your MCOM, you again might not get into the kind of trajectory that an MBA program gives you. All right, that's what. Friends, I wish to draw your attention to I want to tell you that typically our parents or even the general culture around us expects, and we've been, for the last so many centuries, we have been going through this mindset that a job means either I become an engineer or a doctor, or if I become a BCom, then I do my chartered accountancy, or then I get into a typical job which is 9 to 6 or 9 to 7, right? And we have been familiar with very specific areas. Now, post the pandemic, and not only post the pandemic, you will see that over the last 10 years, the world of work has been really, really changing. There is a lot of churn in the kind of areas that are emerging, also with a lot of promise. And some of the areas now, everywhere, you would have noticed that everyone is talking about data and data sciences. Am I right? So there is this new term coming up, which is business analytics. And in every area of business, some degree. So I would say whether it is finance, whether it's marketing, whether it's HR, operations, everywhere, 30% of any area includes analytics. You call it data analytics, you call it big data, you call it business analytics, you may want to call it data crunching, wherever it is. It's a mix of IT softwares and knowing how to analyze data on software platforms. At the same time, it requires you and me to know our numbers right, to have a quantitative acumen, and to have an idea of numericals and numbers. Now, that's where I'm talking about your expertise coming in. All of you as commerce students and as management students, you all are quick to analyze data, and numbers come easy to you, number crunching and analytics comes easy to you. So look at all these areas. There are careers in digital marketing. I think Sir was talking about interior designing and content writing. So there's a lot of scope. All business today is going into is getting digitalized. All of you would have seen in the last 1 or 2 years that everybody is going digital for everything. Banking is going digital, marketing is going digital, commerce or products, retails are going digital in a big way. So there's a lot of scope for all of these. Even HR is going digital. So today, if you wish to appear for an interview, you don't have to take your portfolio and your file and walk up into an office. You will be able to do your interview online. And if you get selected, it is quite possible that at least till the pandemic is over, your boss would say, work from home or get into remote working or virtual working. All right. So there's a lot of scope in e-commerce, delivery-based services. So if you wish to, you can actually have your own startup, and you can get you can start your own delivery-based services where you can say, we can have this delivered to you. Packaging is coming up in a big way. And here I want to say that there is a lot of scope for environmental protection. So there's something called green packaging, where you don't have to use a lot of plastic, and ensure that anything that you make packaging material with, which is biodegradable. All of you have been watching the Olympics, and you would have seen the change, and you would have all seen the way technology has been used in sports and fitness management. So all that, all the games that were happening on a real-time basis, you are getting your analytics over there on the screen for you. And do you think it's easy to manage such large platforms? It's not easy. So somewhere over there, lots of young people like you have been working in teams to manage these events. And today again, there is a lot of scope in fitness management. Everybody wants to be fit. Everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to be a sports person. Across the world, it is a movement. And therefore, there's a lot of scope in fitness management and sports management, no matter what your degree is. Healthcare management, all of you would have seen that suddenly the entire world has woken up to the importance of health. Am I right or am I wrong? I would like to have some feedback. Is everyone with me? Is
Yes,
everybody? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So do you agree with me that healthcare management is an emerging area? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, right. Correct. Now you tell me. You will say healthcare management में तो doctor नहीं होना चाहिए, or I need to have a science degree. Is that a doubt that would come in your mind? I would say not at all so, because the doctor would provide healthcare, but who manages all this? The doctor would provide the right kind of treatment in the hospital, but there has to be somebody who is able to manage all this. And that's where now there are new degrees and new areas coming up in hospital management and also in healthcare management. Today, across the world, people are realizing that if we had had a better infrastructure in healthcare and hospital management, we wouldn't have had to struggle with the pandemic so much, right? One more area that comes up in pharmaceuticals is pharmaceuticals. All of us are looking at the way Adar Poonawalla and the Serum Institute of India, or also your Dr. Reddy's and Johnson & Johnson have been able to make the vaccine in real time. I think this is the first time that in history that a vaccine was made ready and available to people within just in time, they call it, standard time. So it went through so many iterations, and today you can happily walk in without being scared that the vaccine will, do some damage to you. And that's where we're talking about pharmaceutical management, big area coming up. So already spoke about event management, so I'm not going to get into that. I think you have adequate knowledge about event management. We'll take that as a question later on. But in a big way, everybody wants to have a big wedding. Everybody wants to have a birthday party. Today, I was told that even for a baby's naming ceremony, or for the baby is born, on the first day itself, people want to throw mega parties. And that's the event management for all of you, all right? Look at all of these. Some more areas: wellness management, fintech, real estate. Another big area which did not collapse despite the pandemic coming in was infrastructure and real estate management. Now, you will say that, ma'am, all the offices have closed down. And how would you say that real estate is coming up? Today, with office spaces closing down and people moving to the virtual scenario, everybody wants bigger houses. So in most people, these corporates are feeling that you can actually make your house larger to create an office space inside that. So that is one. And the second thing is, everybody is going into companies like WeWork or Office. You would have heard of all of these. They go for co-working spaces. So the spaces have been built, and real estate is definitely coming in. Another big area, which in most cases we don't look for, is corporate social responsibility management. So today companies want young graduates like you to manage the sustainability and the social aspect. So every company wants to be seen doing a lot of social work. And there's a lot of work out there. Tata's, for example, Google, Amazon, these are companies who want to extend the social service to those who deserve. And that is where, for example, a neighbor I know wanted to buy a new car. And the car, he said, I want to buy a Tata car. Now, why you want to buy a Tata car? Because people associate Tatas with social service and with altruism. And that's how the brand grows. And that's where we're talking about. These are some of the new areas. Friends, I wish to draw your attention that when you say new areas, along with new areas, remember that you and I also have to change our thinking about the kind of workplaces that are available to us. And this is very important, very important. Typically, and more than talking to all of you, I would like to talk to your parents over here. Because in a lot of cases, we feel that when our son or when our daughter goes to work, he or she is sitting in an air-conditioned office and has a secretary or a typist or has a darwan sitting outside, and somebody comes and opens it. The workplaces are changing. Ma'am, how much time do I have? Am I overshooting? Is what I
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. 5 minutes you can go ahead.
Okay.
No issue, ma'am.
No issue. So what we're talking about is working styles. Thank you, ma'am. Working styles are changing. So look at that. All the offices today, in most cases, are moving to things like remote working, hybrid working. I just spoke to you about co-working. And what you're also talking about is in terms of gig workers. So what do you mean by gig workers? Can somebody tell me? I'm sure all of you know. Who's a gig worker?
Freelancers.
Freelancers. Very good. Excellent. Who was that?
Sir, ma'am, Mitesh.
Mitesh, thanks. So for those of us who don't know, thank you, Mitesh. Gig workers, like for example, see, I worked full-time. Meghna ma'am worked full-time. Until retirement, we all continue. But then, in your generation, there are also ways in which you can say, okay, I am an expert in health management, or I am an expert in data management or in accounting. I can provide my services to the company for 3 months. I can be on a project with them. And after I'm not required, I can move on to whatever else I wish to do. And especially abroad in the United States, gig working is coming up in a big way, and people don't want to be with full-time jobs. All right. Now look at some of the career sectors that you have after you do your finance. Now I'm saying either it is MBA finance or even your bachelor's in management studies. So there is banking and banking BFSI, consultancy. You can get into infrastructure companies. You can get into reality, or one big sector, if you look to your right, is the insurance sector. So today there is a lot of scope for people who have strong knowledge in insurance. So that is one area which you can specialize in when you move in, because insurance is coming up in a big way. And today, after COVID, everybody wants to insure themselves. All right. Now, all of these require number crunching, and that is where a commerce graduate would be useful. All right. Now, these are some of the areas in finance. I'm sure all of you would be very familiar with this. Portfolio management, credit management, investment banking, financial planning. So providing financial planning to individuals or to families, entire families. People don't know how to invest their money. If you go for your management specialization or higher education in management, these are some of the areas which you would want to go into. Finance, marketing, human resource management, operations management, OTT platforms, online gaming, managed office spaces. What do management programs offer? So if you want to actually go for a management program, you can either go for an MBA, PGDM, PGPM, postgraduate program in management. Bombay University offers Masters in Management Studies. Or if you wish to go into a particular area, some universities offer a Masters in Marketing Management, MHRDM, MPM. All right. So these are some of the specializations. So if you get into a management program, you can either specialize in finance, marketing, HR, financial services. Some institutes also give MBA in information technology, like IBS gives MBA in information. You can offer for it as a minor specialization. All right. I spoke to you already about Why analytics? Now, in any of these areas, finance, marketing, HR, today, especially analytics becomes a very critical component, and therefore knowledge of Excel, Hadoop, Python, these, if one takes as additional certification courses, it really helps you because it helps you get an edge in your job, and you are able to apply, you are able to work on it, and with your knowledge of of management or domain subjects, you are able to articulate that and you're able to use that on your jobs. All right. Now, typically when you say HR analytics, I'll give you one example. Suppose you go for a recruitment drive. So as an HR person, what will you do in human resource management? You would either be hiring or recruiting talent for your organization. You would be training people. You would be managing their performance. So in all of these today, artificial intelligence is embedded and also analytics is embedded. So along with doing your domain job, you would also be required to analyze in terms of where am I getting my best candidates from? Where is my training effective? Who are my best performing people? How can I develop a high performance career? Who are my A performers? All of that you would be studying in HR analytics. All right. Now, at the entry level, tomorrow when you take your job, what are some of the positions available, jobs, profiles available to you? You could either be a management trainee, you might get in as an assistant manager, MBA finance, or a combination of an MBA finance and marketing. You may get in as a relationship manager with a private bank, and then you would be required to connect with customers and clients, high profile clients, to develop business for the organization. Analyst, or you can also be a management trainee. These are some of the roles for beginners in HR management. You can get in as an HR trainee, a consultant in HR, recruitment specialist, HR analyst, or a recruitment coordinator. If you get into marketing management, you could again join as a management trainee. You can get in as a sales and marketing coordinator. Now remember that sales and marketing go hand in hand. And a typical image that you and I have about sales as a profession today is that if I become a salesperson, or if I get into sales, I may have to pick up a bag and go from door to door. Friends, that is a myth. If you have to, today, even an MD of an organization has to have the right kind of selling skills to be able to expand the business for his particular organization. All right. Ma'am, just 2 minutes more. I know that I'm overshooting. 2 minutes
no
more.
issue, no issue.
Yeah. And some of the roles in finance management, again, management trainee, relationship manager, analyst, a trainee in fintech. All right. Most important, whichever field you get into, remember that these are the qualities that are expected at an entry level. So you may take all the qualification in the world and you can join a particular job. But the company may require you to learn a new set of skills, and you say these are the competencies which are company specific, and you would be put through a whole lot of training again. So what's most important is I'm eager to learn. I will learn. I will absorb as much as I can from my course as well as from the job that I'm going to be taking, and I'm ever open to learning. Never stops. You may become the CEO of a company and still you'll keep learning. So long you have to be somebody who can work with other people, who can work in teams, and very important, who treats people well. So people skills are most important. Okay. I want to say that workplaces are changing. The world is changing, highly technology driven. workplaces are changing, and as a result of that, our working style has to change, my friends. All right. So best wishes for Independence Day. Now I'll take questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, you can ask your questions by unmuting yourself, or you can ask them in the chat box.
Participants, you can directly unmute and ask the question. Go ahead.
Friends, have I intimidated you that you don't have any questions?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, I had a query. I am actually a bit interested in business analytics. So which course should I take up that I can become a business analytic?
See, there are some institutes which are giving an MBA in business analytics, right? So you can actually see why I would say don't go for a pure course in business analytics is because then you would not get into a managerial cadre. So ideally speaking, if you really wish to specialize in business analytics, go for a full-fledged management program. I'm told IIM Calcutta has a specialized program in business analytics, wherein they actually 1 year you do your course, your classroom lectures, and they also put you on a posting in business analytics. So it's a mix. You are put on a live project with a company. Having said that, most management courses nowadays, whether you do MBA Finance, HR, whatsoever, they have all integrated business analytics into the course itself. Like for example, my question to you, my daughter's friend wanted to do her business analytics. So then I asked her, which area do you want to do business analytics? Do you want to do it in finance or in marketing or in HR? So wherever you go, once you join the company, you would have to be attached to a particular domain. So it's very important for you to understand these domains and understand what happens in finance, marketing, HR, so that you're able to apply your business analytics to the particular domain. And one more thing is there are also certification programs such as nowadays Coursera offers or Udemy offers. Instead of doing these standalone programs, you can always take up ideally it should be a good 6 months to a 1 year certification program in business. All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, understanding data is very important. Yes. Yeah.
Ma'am, I also like to add that IBS Hyderabad is also having an option of business analytics.
Yes.
So that anybody who wanted to go for it, we have that option in IBS Hyderabad.
Yes. There is IBS Hyderabad has a full-fledged course in business analytics.
Ma'am, I had one doubt.
Okay.
I was asking that you said about the hospitality management.
Yes.
So how much year does it need, and what will be the fees of the
hospitality management course?
Yeah,
okay. See, a hospitality management, per se, there are very few institutes or colleges which are, you are talking about working with hotels, right? You want to work with hotels. Now, generally for hospitality management, there are two ways. Ideally speaking, for a graduate degree, you have this Institute of Hotel Management through which you get in at the undergraduate level itself. For example, after you complete your 12th standard, there was an All India exam, and then you can get posted just like the medical and engineering colleges have. It's an IHM degree, and the fees are anything between 1 lakh to 3 lakhs per annum, depending on the ranking of the institute. That's one. And after completing your graduation, ideally speaking, the students complete 1 or 2 years of working, and then the postgraduate programs are available abroad. So more than India, the PG programs, because when you, if you want to really become, a manager or a chef in the hospitality industry, or even let's say a general manager of a hotel, some degree of international exposure is required. So a lot of them go abroad, and Switzerland has a lot of postgraduate degrees. After your graduation, if you wish to go into hospitality management, then you need to do your management program with marketing as your specialization, and you can get into the marketing division of a 5-star hotel. So for that, you need to take a combination of marketing management and sales management, and then maybe do a diploma or a certification course in hospitality, and then get into the hospitality sector. Speaking for me, I did my HR and then got into hospitality. So I joined as an HR executive in the with a 5-star hotel. That was my entry level job. So if you're not getting into the mainstream hospitality, you can get into HR and marketing and join a hotel.
Okay.
Answers your
Means
question?
after
Yeah.
marketing also we can join it. Yeah.
Yes, because for example at IBS, the Taj Group comes to hire.
Okay.
And the Taj Group comes to take people for marketing and for HR. So after you complete your management also, through this route, you can definitely get in. I got in through that route itself.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
ma'am.
into HR, and that's how I got exposed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Any other questions?
Ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually have a doubt that if we are doing a foreign language and want to enroll for government job for IPS as a translator, so what do we need to do?
See, IPS would not require translators. A foreign language is always an asset. Knowing a foreign language is an asset anywhere. For example, wherever you go, whichever company you go to, if they need somebody, let's say with a knowledge of German or French or whatsoever, and if they need somebody to go to that particular country, you definitely will be considered at that point of time. For IAS, if you go into an Indian foreign service, yes, I didn't mention that in the slide, then definitely you would require to know 2 or 3 languages. That is one. But at the same time, you could also be trained on the job on that particular language. Right? So if you have a good command over a particular foreign language, you could be considered for a posting in that particular country. Correct, Vidhi?
Yeah.
Okay. So was that what you asked? Is that an answer to, what was your question? Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, I actually asked that if we do a foreign language and we want to be a translator for a government job, so which course should we opt, like IAS or IPS? Which one? I don't have any idea.
No. For the IAS and the IPS, these are higher level positions where you become a state secretary, or you become a commissioner or a deputy commissioner, or you become a deputy district magistrate. And, these are where you would be working with diplomats or ministers, or you would be managing the administrator of an entire district. There you would have translators for you, Vidhi.
Yeah.
Okay. The government may release separate advertisements for translators' jobs. Now, those are different positions altogether. Those are not into Indian administrative service is a very prestigious thing, where you would be taken at a particular position. As soon as you join, they will give you a house, you'll get a car with a chauffeur, and you will be calling the shots over there. Okay? Yeah. So every mother wants her daughter to become an IAS officer. A long route, but definitely worth attempting.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. What you need over there is very strong personality, very quick to answer questions, a lot of general knowledge, current affairs, and you should know what is happening in which part of the world, even if you're woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning in deep sleep. All right?
Yeah.
That's the, yeah. All right.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome. Yes. Yes. Yeah, tell me.
Any other question, participants?
Saili has a question, says doing BMS and interested in human resource management. Yes, it's a very good option. And here again, today, I would say that HR management, till about 1 year back, maybe there were very many options or in HR management. But now, because companies are going virtual and there is a lot of policy making that is happening in the area of HR and for employees, HR is coming up in a big way. So there's a lot of work. So if anybody is busy in the HR world, in the corporate world, it is the HR professional. Yes. Yeah. That answers your question also, Monica, I think, which you've asked. Correct. So after completing HR from BMS background, what should we go for? Monica, you can go either for a full-fledged management PG in HR. You can go for core HR specialization, or you can take a combination of HR and marketing. Or what I suggest, because you're a commerce and a management graduate, you go for core HR, but keep 1 or 2 subjects of finance. Because in most cases, HR students think that, no, I'm not good in numbers. I don't want to go in for finance. One finance subject you should know, because you are going to manage payroll and you are going to manage company capital, human capital. And that's why it's very important. All right. Yes. Any other question?
No, ma'am. I think it's done, ma'am.
Yes.
Over to you.
Yes, yes. Yes, Neha.
So I would like to invite a student joint secretary of CGC, Vidhi, to come and give vote of thanks.
I, Vidhi, the member of CGC, on behalf of Shroff College and Career Guidance Cell, would like to give vote of thanks. Thank you so much, Rita ma'am, for rightly quoting that you said if we have a good degree and a good career, we definitely get good opportunities for it. Thank you so much for giving very insightful guidance. I'm very sure that the guidance you gave was very good and we get a good opportunities for it ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Vidhi. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rita ma'am. Thank you, Ratandip sir.
Thank
for
you.
joining us and guiding our students.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ratan sir.
Yeah, thank you, Megha ma'am. Thank you, Jatin sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.